All right, we're here with head coach Russell Gaskamp of Ravens football. Week 3 on the horizon this week. Pace will come to town, but first let's talk about week 2. Win number 1, coach. What's the atmosphere like on the team this week?
Well, our kids had a good week of practice, and so it was great to see them get rewarded with, a good result. And so, obviously, when we went in last night, we told them that, there's good things that happen in games that you lose, and there's things that we got to fix in games that we win. It definitely was very evident that was going on. We had some problems with some special team stuff in the game, and we struggled in that regard. But our guys have to again see, hey, when you do good things are going to happen to you. When you don't listen and you do your own thing, or you try to change something up that we haven't talked about, that bad things happen. So it's good. We're going to continue to learn, but I'm glad we're learning after a win rather than a loss. So.
On the offensive side of the ball, Drew Campanelli, maybe a little uneven performance, but at the end of the day, he throws for 2 touchdowns, runs for 1 more. What can you tell us about what he brought to the team?
Well, the first thing, and we knew this about Drew when we recruited him last year, he's a tough kid, man. I mean, he's the type of guy that other guys want to go play for because he'll go take a hit and jump right back up with some spunk, and he's a fiery competitor. I mean, that's what that position has to start with. It also wasn't easy to throw the ball early in the game. I think some of the stats were a little bit distorted because of how hard it was raining. We were trying to get dry balls out there, but we struggled at the beginning part of the game and had a couple drops. And so, but again, he makes plays with his feet. When he does break the pocket, he continues to look down the field to make a throw. He made a real big third down conversion to KJ in the deal, and so we're excited about seeing him progress throughout the year and see kind of what what he looks like by the end. We think he'll be a seasoned, tough player that's going to be a good football player for us. So.
Morgan Smith, 3 for 3 on extra points. We've been talking about her a lot, but very cool moment. First woman to score in an NE10 football game. What was that moment like out on the field?
Well, obviously, especially the first one, the 2-point conversion was actually just a bad snap. It wasn't a fake. Lowe made a good play on that. So I was disappointed for her. I was like, oh, we didn't get to kick the first one in. But after she made the first one, that was exciting. It was exciting for our guys. And then I told our guys, she's a Raven football player. I mean, we can't celebrate after every extra point she makes. She doesn't want that. And so she just wants to go out there and do her job. And so I know the fans were excited. We were excited. But she's doing a nice job kicking for us. So.
Defensive side of the ball, Niger Hutchinson had, I believe, 6 tackles he finished with, but they all seemed like they were in huge spots, including the 2-point conversion at the end. But he also took a big unsportsmanlike conduct penalty in the middle of the game as well. So how do you balance rewarding that performance with the big stops with educating moving forward?
And he's a fiery guy. I mean, he plays with a lot of emotions, and that's one of the good things about him. At the same time, not just him. We had guys during the game that did things and cost us penalties in critical moments that they have to understand that when they make a decision personal to do something like that, it hurts the other 60 guys on the field. And so that's part of the learning process for our young football team. Football is an emotional game, but you just have to make the right decision in those moments. We made a couple of them the other day that weren't the right decisions, and hopefully we'll just continue to grow and get better. But Hutch is an explosive football player that makes a lot of plays. He's a young guy, so there's times that, he's going to make mistakes too, and those things will be kind of glaring and apparent when he does. And when he starts really doing, taking coaching and doing the right thing, along with his explosiveness, we feel like he's going to be a really good football player for us.
Awesome. So turning the page to week 3, Pace comes to town, first ever in-conference NE10 game. What do we know about the Setters?
Well, I think first and foremost, anytime you start getting in the conference, you got to try to defend your home turf. And so there's a heightened sense of urgency when it comes to conference games. Obviously we want to be able to start off 1-0 in the conference if we can. Pace is a good football team. They got some older guys. Kind of starts with their quarterback, number 2. He will be the best athlete we've seen so far. And he's the type of guy that, in the run game, you got to make sure he doesn't keep the ball. And when we're pass rushing him, we have to be very disciplined in our lanes because if we lose him outside and contain, we might not catch him. And so, it really starts with him. They do a lot of different things offensively. Again, for us, we got to stop the run first and try to make them one-dimensional. And then on the defensive side of the ball, Pace has got a good football team. I mean, they've the first game, I think they gave up 20. This last week, I think they gave up 14. They're a little bit unique in what they do. In fact, they're very heavy blitz heavy. And they do it with guys that you don't normally see them with. So they have some versatile players in the back end where they'll safety blitz and corner blitz and do different stuff. And you just got to get you guys to understand that what they're trying to get accomplished out of that when you see the blitz. But we're going to have to make some plays on the outside this week. You know, we didn't make enough of them last week. And we're going to have to make some plays throwing the ball against that blitz when guys are matched up one-on-one to be able for us to be successful this week.
Right. Just before we came over here, you guys were talking through some offensive adjustments in the office. So what can we expect adjustment-wise from the Ravens this week?
Well, I mean, number one, you know, you got to balance out how much you run your quarterback. You know, we know Drew is going to be a really good player for us this year. We want to make sure that even though he's a tough, competitive guy, we can't have him carrying it 14, 15 times a game. And so, you know, we got to be smart in those times that we do ask him to run the ball. You know, like I said, a lot of those type of things are really more driven on, you know, what you see on opponents and what adjustments you have to make from week to week. And ultimately, you know, our job is to try to put our guys in the best possible position to win. And so some of that's personnel driven and some of it's scheme driven. And you just got to kind of go through that stuff and figure out, you know, how much stuff you can add to a young football team without confusing them. And I would say that on both sides of the ball, really, you know, we're doing that. Part of the reason why I thought defensively we played a lot better last week, we scaled it back a little bit so those guys could just go play hard, run hard to the ball. And I thought as a team we played harder last week because of some of that lack of confusion maybe we had from the first week.
Gotcha. Most important thing for the Ravens this week?
Well, I mean, you know, this is a step up in class for us, you know, from a team standpoint. And so, you know, I think it would help us a lot if we can get off to a fast start. If we can get some confidence going in. I told the guys last night, you know, obviously success, you know, builds confidence. And so we need to come out and get a score on the board, get a couple stops early in the game. I think that will help us a lot. We've got to play significantly better on special teams. I mean, the way we played on special teams on Saturday would lose 99 out of 100 games. And so, but we know that, and the kids, you know, we're not going to sit there and just beat it all week that it happened. We just got to get better and get the guys to understand what we're trying to get accomplished and then go simply execute when we do. So, you know, I think if we can get off to a fast start, if we can play a lot better on special teams, we'll have a chance this week.
All right, he's head coach Russell Gaskamp. Week 3 this week at Sodexo Field. Pace comes to town. It is a 6 o'clock start on Saturday under the lights. We'll see you out there. Thanks, Coach.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.